So here's a new 2022 M2 MacBook Air priced at a whopping $1,200. And here's a previous generation M1 MacBook Air that can get as low as $850 depending on where you get it, like at some retail places like Best Buy, Amazon, or even Apple themselves if you get it through the student discount website. I really want to see why anyone would pay $300 to $350 more for a piece of machine with a technology that we could have gotten a few years ago. I mean, honestly, I'm pretty sure we had the tech of the M2 chip for a while. We've been had a high definition webcam. We've been had a better display for however long now. But of course, Apple would like to slowly release their products so that they could extend the lifespan of their machines in order to squeeze a few more dollars from us as consumers. I mean, come on now. If I was Apple, I'd probably do the same thing too, you know? But anyways, in this video, I'm gonna briefly talk about this new laptop, some of the improvements that they made, and honestly see if this is just like another bougie option for students. Or if you should just stick with just the regular M1 MacBook instead. So go down in the comments and tell me if you are getting the new M2 MacBook Air, are you gonna hold off? What do you think of this year's new iteration of their machine? Do you have something to say about it? But anyways, let's talk. First off, this is looking like a mini 14-inch MacBook Pro as Apple got rid of the wedge-shaped design, which I'm surely going to miss. It just felt like the M1 laptop is very thin, very classy, very pristine, in my own humble opinion, and actually a little bit too sharp at some times, you know? Like opening the corners of the laptop can kind of actually poke you sometimes. Like around here at the corners and top of the screen, you know, it's really sharp. The M2 on the other hand feels softer, more rounded around the corners. It's all flat design. You get the added MagSafe charger, which is finally back, thank goodness. But other than that, that's the only port that they added. Not much of the keyboard and trackpad has been changed other than the top escape, F1, F12 keys have been upgraded to a regular full-size key instead of the half one that we gotten before, and Touch ID looks more real. There's this premium feeling aluminum ring that wraps around it. The old one looked like a little cutout that they made on the keyboard, you know? And as far as the speaker goes, they're noticeably louder and sound better for some reason as they're hidden behind the crack of the screen and the keyboard base, and this is great because this makes the laptop look prettier. Also, they got rid of the MacBook Air logo now, so nobody can tell if this is really a MacBook Air anymore. But I mean, at least you and I know because, you know, we're tech nerds, right? And as far as the screen goes, this is one of the things that got improved a lot. You get 100 more nits of brightness compared to the old M1 MacBook. It's thinner, you know, the bezels look more beautiful. That curve on the top of the corners of the screen gives a much more sleeker and, you know, funner, jubilant look. You know, then of course the notch, which I'm sure many of you guys have seen by now. I mean, you just can't miss it. I like the notch a lot. This is really cool as you got a lot more screen space, you know, 0.3 more inches to be exact. The fact that when you full screen a window, the top of the menu bar just blend in with the top of the screen, it just looks really nice. Overall, that's really what I came to notice in terms of the biggest changes with the new MacBook design. Also, the feet of the laptop looks and performs a little bit better. The plastic grommets are a little bit thicker, they're bigger. Also, there's less screws. But yeah, objectively, these design improvements are great. And I wouldn't see a reason not to get the M2 MacBook Air. It's just that when you compare this to the regular M1, it makes it look outdated. The M1 Air is still very, very premium. Many people around the world that, you know, still can't even afford a Mac would still be able to say that this is a great machine in general. I mean, personally, after 2 years, I still feel like a boss while using it. Walking into class and doing, you know, productive shit while my other peers are using these thick, old laptops. Overall, if you do get either of these MacBooks, you know, you're gonna feel very good while using it. You're gonna feel great, you're gonna feel high tech. But enough of all that. Let's move on to the performance. So we've already seen the performance of what the M2 chip is capable of producing, in which this chip has consistently proven to beat the M1 all the time. The M2's cores offer moderate performance and efficiency improvements and up to 2 more additional cores in the GPU, giving however many percentage increase of power over last year's model when it comes to editing videos, rendering different projects, yada yada yada. But you know, let's talk about the common everyday user for once, okay? So yeah, when it comes to normal, moderate usage, I'll be editing a video using DaVinci Resolve, which is a very power-hungry video editing app in terms of GPU and CPU usage. I'll have maybe a few Chrome tabs open in the background, which will be loaded up with school projects and articles, a few YouTube videos. I'll even have FaceTime running in the background to talk to some of my friends with questions or anything like that. Spotify minimized in the background, you know, just a bunch of these programs all at once. And the M2 MacBook Air chews through those programs like crazy. I haven't been slowing down at all. There's no beach bubbles that pop up. I'm not waiting and getting mad that it's not loading fast enough. It will handle amazingly fast, but so can the M1 Air. There's a ton of articles and videos which you can look up comparing the two chips, but we won't be getting into that in this video. Unless you're doing something advanced that's going to need the extra jump in performance, I would just look at the 14-inch M1 MacBook Pro instead. So whatever your situation may be, the M2 MacBook Air is going to be objectively better. It boasts some serious power upgrades over the M1 Air, maybe not the SSD speeds, which some of you guys may have heard about. I'll link a article down in the description below if you don't know. But yeah, the design has been improved other than maybe the wedge-shaped design being gone. That's totally up to other people's preferences. I think the steep price of $1,200 US is kind of hard to justify. It may be just another expensive option for an average student, but if you're a person that's doing their research, that wants to save a couple more dollars, and feels confident about what they're going to buy and want to buy, I would just get the M1 Air. You know, it's a great machine. I've been using it for all my schoolwork. I traveled with it. I edited like all the videos on this YouTube channel using that machine. It really didn't slow down at all. It's really fast still. But if you're just on the verge of just buying a new laptop in general, maybe you haven't treated yourself out in a very long time, maybe you're coming from an old laptop and you don't even have a laptop before, maybe you just want something the best of the best, the newest of the newest, then I just say pull the gun and get the M2 Air then. You're gonna get those upgraded features which you'll be very impressed about, and you'll thank yourself long term for all the bells and whistles. So as a student though, there really wasn't anything special or really anything that shocked me with the new MacBook. Seems like every other year we get this whole new redesign in which other tech reviewers will jump on and make a whatever video talking about how great this machine is. But I really want to make this to show you, what it's like from a real consumer. Yeah, I mean, the laptop is very light, carrying around school and putting in my backpack, only weighing in around 2.7 pounds. This is very nice. It's just like last year's model, right? I feel light while using it. It doesn't burden my hand at all. Honestly, the M2 Air, it's a great machine. It's just an expensive one. But yeah, like I said, if you haven't commented already, tell me what you think of the new MacBook. Are you looking at getting it? Do you have something to say about it? Is it just another expensive bougie option for students and anyone else in general? Tell me your thoughts. I want to know. Anyways, that's all I have for this video. And until next one, guys, I'll see you then.